Hey everyone, as a lifestyle realtor here in Orange County with Seven Gables Real Estate, one of my #1 missions is to bring you the best of the best in all of the land. And that's why I have Danielle Sprouls here today. Danielle, so good to see you.
Thank you for the invite, Jules.
Well,
so great to be here.
Now, Danielle's not your average girl. First off, she's from the East Coast, so that says a lot right there.
Yes, the accent will give me away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she is an executive coach. She's a speaker. She's an inspirer. That I just came up with that for you. And she also is an author. Now, the reason I wanted Danielle on today is we're all looking for nuggets, Danielle, of how to make our lives better, be more successful. A lot of us are driven on our careers. So she has just written her second book, WTF. She gave me a copy. I'm so excited. Now, listen, I want to start out with the coaching because I know that's something really passionate in your heart to help people, business executives or moms. There is no limit, right? And I know your whole premise started with women who flourish, but you also coach men, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I coach more men than I do women right now. I absolutely do.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's a lawyer. Well, I guess once a lawyer, always a lawyer. Not a
yes, I
practicing
practice
attorney.
law, admitted in New Jersey,
Right.
and I'm retired from that.
Right.
Yeah.
So as first off, getting into law school, I think that takes tenacity, graduating, that whole thing. But anyway, so what is your #1 passion in being an executive coach? And really, I'm going to ask it like probably a lot of people are thinking, listen, we hear life coach. It's kind of like a term lately. Everyone, not everyone. A lot of people want to be a life coach. So what makes you different? What gives you more credibility? Why should people call you?
You know, I think that what really adds to my skill set, which is a lot of it is like natural within me, thank goodness, but also that the legal training, having been a lawyer as my first career choice, I really understand how to read people and ask the right questions. And at the core of coaching, you have to really be insightful and gain like the energy and like understanding and see in people what they're not seeing in themselves and then ask the right questions. Because coaching really is leading. It's a little different than consulting.
Right.
I'm not giving them the answers. I'm extracting the answers from within them, and we find them together.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I love that.
So that helps.
Okay, so but is your main focus or one of your driving focuses to take someone to business and take them from where they are to where they want to go? Or give us more of an idea on that as an executive coach.
So my coaching practice is really career focused, right? I'm looking to serve ambitious professionals that are looking to elevate. It doesn't mean, they have to be in a time of crisis, although a lot of times there is a crisis-like feeling within themselves when they're staying stuck. And so I came up with the WTF Pivot framework because what I'm saying out there is everything starts with a WTF moment. Now, we universally understand what that means, right? So it's kind of like
the famous acronym.
The famous acronym, but I'm on a mission, Jules, to redefine WTF because what I'm really on a mission and journey for is to have people redefine that experience when they're saying, whoa, I didn't expect that. Whether it's in their business or their personal life, because really that's a moment of power if you let it be. So at the core of my framework is really about pivot. Okay, and to pivot with intention and purpose. Now, the book that I wrote really honestly to give tangible evidence as to why I was out there being called the WTF lady, because that on its face could seem a little bit bold. And I'm bold by nature. But I wanted people to understand WTF now means when transition fuels, wake that flame, women thriving financially, worth the fear. I mean, let's talk about fear, right? Whenever we're coming into a situation where we're like looking for the accountability partnership with the coach, we're saying, something's going wrong, right? There's so many fears out there. I don't say, what's the fear? I say, you're going to feel it. It's worth the fear. WTF.
Oh, I love that. And I think a lot of what you do, because I've known Danielle for several years now, one thing I really love about her is you're so insightful into where people are, and sometimes we don't know where we are. We think we do, but so Danielle's so good at really not telling you what to do, but as you say, getting that out of you. Because listen, if we really think long and hard, we probably know what's going on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
The majority of the people that I coach, they're up there in terms of their career, right? But we go through seasons in life. We all do. It's inescapable, and we can't access the tools that we maybe once had. There's a lot of things that will impact our businesses. I mean, today, for instance, the second book I'm reading is really focused on the disruption that happens in businesses, and a lot of it's around AI. I mean, think about how many things have changed in business, the roles, the contribution, the way we do work, right? What does that look like? I mean, big WTF moment for a lot of career-based people.
Oh, me too.
Big. So, but it's about aligning yourself with the new skill that's available to you. It doesn't necessarily have to replace you. What it will replace is the people that don't understand how to utilize AI. And there's so much to learn. It's such a dynamic, area. I mean, every time I turn around, there's like some new platform, some new app, some new thing. But when you learn to harness that, that's really where you're going to get ahead.
Well, I think another misconception a lot of us have, Danielle, is that if we hire a coach, there must be something wrong. But I know so many of her clients, they're already at the top of their game, but a lot of them want more meaning. Or they want more purpose, right? I mean, you could make $1 million a year and be at the top of your game, but still be unhappy or unfulfilled.
But, and you know what? I mean, what I think that we understand, if you think about sports, what great athlete doesn't have a coach or two?
That's true.
I mean, that is so normalized in that industry.
Right.
So when it comes to corporate America, why would it not be the same? Now, it is a huge business. I mean, there's a lot of successful coaches out there, and I chose the profession because it was something that I had already kind of been honing for years. I mean, I've always worked in a space in commercial real estate, as you know, where I've been mentoring people along the way.
Right.
And when I say mentoring, they weren't looking to become title insurance executives, right? But they were looking to be better versions of themselves, and how do you navigate the industry? And so I've always kind of been inclined, and about 6 years ago, I was invited by the company I was working for in New York. I was doing title deals for them, and they said, we want to pay you extra. We want you to coach the New York team. I know it's going to be remote because I live in Southern California, this beautiful place. And what does that look like? And that was my first crack at understanding what I had to add to like just my skill set base. And so it wasn't enough a couple years of doing that and loving that, and I was responsible for this team's performance.
Wow,
it was really, really great.
Wow.
So then I got certified. So I thought, I'm a person about degrees. It has to be legit, right? I'm not going to do it just because I say I can do it.
Right.
So then I got formally certified to be an executive coach, and so began this whole, new path.
Yeah.
It was an unscripted pivot. If somebody would have said to me, 10 years ago, this is what you'll be doing, I would not have thought that,
Well, another thing I love about a coach is a coach who's doing what I want to be doing. In other words, following through, growing, improving. Okay, so you're an executive coach, you're a speaker, this is your second book.
That's actually the first.
Oh, the first?
I'm in the middle of writing.
Okay, sorry.
So that's
how in the heck do you have time to write this, Danielle? As a coach, do you have those tips too? I mean, honestly, there's only so many hours in the day. You have a husband, you have children.
My husband will attest to the fact that, like, he would roll over and it'd be 2 a.m. and he'd be like, hey, Shakespeare, shut off the computer. And I'm like, writing. That was such an incredible journey for me to do a deep dive into what I mean by the WTF Pivot coaching framework. It's a labor of love. And I know that some people just push out books real fast. There was nothing fast about that. I learned a lot about my messaging, but also about myself and the resilience that's deep within me, because it was a project and a half.
This takes commitment. I so admire you.
And there were a lot of WTF moments in the process. That I can tell you. There was a lot of curveballs I didn't see coming. But really, at the end of the day, that's the message that I have for everybody, is that life, as John Lennon's saying, life is busy while we're making other plans.
That's
life is what happens. And that is so true. So why not embrace that? Embrace it with curiosity.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason that I'm exceptional at being a coach, is because I'm very curious.
Yeah.
I truly want to understand what people are thinking, what they're feeling, what they want to get away from, what they want to move towards.
Oh, that's so good.
So my interest is so sincere that the process is just extremely natural.
Yeah, you were born curious.
Yeah.
Well, Danielle, how can people get a hold of you for coaching? Because you're such a gift and what you offer is amazing. So how do people get a hold of you? And then where do they get your book? Because I think they go hand in hand.
So thank you. So the best way really to get a hold of me is to visit my website, which is unscriptedpivots.com. Because within there, there's pages. There's pages about my coach. Then there's a dedicated book page with a link to the Amazon. My book right now is available on Amazon only. And it's doing extremely well. It's getting a lot of great reviews. It's boosting up the ratings. And that's the best way. And then, it's Danielle Sprouls. Danielle at unscriptedpivots.com is my email. But if you visit unscriptedpivots.com, that's the best way to see everything.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Danielle, even though she's sitting right here. So we are good friends, but also professionally, I respect her so much. I did check out your website.
Okay.
And it's fantastic. So definitely reach out to Danielle. Listen, I don't care if you're making $1 bazillion a year. The most successful people in life have a coach. So give her a call. You'll be happy you didn't. Congratulations. Go out and get her book. Thanks so much, Danielle.
Thank you, Jules. I appreciate it.